Leonardo da Vinci quotes, phrases and aphorisms. You don't get into trouble because of the things you don't know. It is the things you know that really get you into a mess. It's not enough that you believe what you see, you must also understand what you see. Nature is the source of all true knowledge. She has her own logic, her own laws. She has no effect without cause nor invention without necessity. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. He who never puts his trust in any man will never be deceived. Be a mirror, absorb everything around you, and still remain the same. Learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. Fix your course on a star and you'll navigate any storm. Life is pretty simple. You do some stuff, most fail, some works, you do more of what works. Your brain is much better than you think, just use it. Beauty perishes in life, but is immortal in art. Whatever you do in life, if you want to be creative and intelligent, and develop your brain, you must do everything with the awareness that everything, in some way, connects to everything else. Motion is created by the destruction of balance. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. I am not poor. Poor are those who desire many things. There are three classes of people: those who see when they are shown, those who do not see. The noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. Experience is a truer guide than the words of others. An average human looks without seeing, listens without hearing, touches without feeling, eats without tasting, moves without physical awareness, inhales without awareness of odor or fragrance, and talks without thinking. Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. If you find from your own experience that something is a fact and it contradicts what some authority has written down, then you must abandon the authority and base your reasoning on your own findings. Every obstacle yields to stern resolve. It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. Learn diligence before speedy execution. That which can be lost cannot be deemed riches. As every divided kingdom falls, so every mind divided between many studies confounds and saps itself. The five senses are the ministers of the soul. I awoke, only to see that the rest of the world was still asleep. Lying on a feather mattress or quilt will not bring you renown. An arch consists of two weaknesses which, leaning one against the other, make a strength. To be a winner, you must want to win but must know of the chance of losing and must not fear it. That which has no limitations, has no form. It's easier to resist at the beginning than at the end. We know well that mistakes are more easily detected in the works of others than in one's own. Make your work to be in keeping with your purpose. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. It is useful to constantly observe, note, and consider. He who walks straight rarely falls. Envy wounds with false accusations, that is with detraction, a thing which scares virtue. He who can copy can do. To speak well of a base man is much the same as speaking ill of a good man. He who has access to the fountain does not go to the water pot. You must grow in patience when you meet with great wrongs, and they will then be powerless to vex your mind. Whatever you think matters, doesn't follow this rule, and you will add decades to your life. The grave will fall upon him who digs it. To discover the soul living in somebody's body, we watch the surrounding of the body, and if it's messy and disordered, so is the soul. If on your own or by the criticism of others you discover errors in your work, correct it then and there, otherwise in exposing your work to the public, you will expose your error also. He who cannot establish dominion over himself will have no dominion over others. Iron rusts from disuse, water loses its purity from stagnation, even so does inaction sap the vigor of the mind. Where there is shouting, there is no true knowledge. Study without desire spoils the memory, and it retains nothing that it takes in. All our knowledge has its origins in our perceptions. The smallest feline is a masterpiece. Learning is the only thing that never disappoints us. The greatest geniuses sometimes accomplish more when they work less. Poor is the pupil who does not surpass his master. Men of lofty genius, when they are doing the least work, are most active. The wisest and noblest teacher is nature itself. I'm not content to capture the world, I want to change it. The length of a man's outspread arms is equal to his height. Experience never misleads. What you are misled by is only your judgment, and this misleads you by anticipating results from experience of a kind that is not produced by your experiments. I shall go down in history as the man who opened a door. He who wishes to be rich in a day will be hanged in a year. Intellectual passion dries out sensuality. An artist's studio should be a small space, because small rooms discipline the mind and large ones distract it. You will never have a greater or lesser dominion than that over yourself. The height of a man's success is gauged by his self-mastery, the depth of his failure by his self-abandonment, and this law is the expression of eternal justice. The knowledge of all things is possible. Although nature commences with reason and ends in experience, it is necessary for us to do the opposite, that is, to commence with experience and from this to proceed to investigate the reason. The young man should first learn perspective, then the proportions of objects next, copy work after the hand of a good master, to gain the habit of drawing parts of the body well, and then to work from nature, to confirm the lessons learned. Let proportion be found not only in numbers and measures, but also in sounds, weights, times, and positions, and whatever force there is. The cat is nature's masterpiece. He who fears dangers will not perish by them. Advertisers constantly invent cures to which there is no disease. It vexes me greatly that having to earn my living has forced me to interrupt the work and to attend to small matters. Therefore, O students, study mathematics and do not build without foundations. It should not be hard for you to stop sometimes and look into the stains of walls, or ashes of a fire, or clouds, or mud or like places, in which you may find really marvelous ideas. Fire destroys falsehood, that is sophistry, and restores truth, driving out darkness. Thank you so much for watching so far. If you liked it and want more content, subscribe, activate the bell and leave your like.